for a second.
Go ahead, speak. Take the yeah. You got to take your little head stuff off. That's not working because nobody can hear you. Y'all hear me, right? Y'all hear me. I know y'all hear me. What's up? What up? Happy Sabado. Thank you, Phyllis Pryor. Thank you, Phyllis Pryor. When you get the sound together, then we'll get started with the regularly scheduled program, y'all. No, no, it's very faint. Y'all hear me, right? Yeah, they hear me. Like I said, you might just got you got to take you can't do the Bluetooth or them headsets now. Get you another pair. We just gonna call it. We're gonna throw them in the trash. You're still not audible. Just FYI. What's up, y'all? I'm waiting for her to get her sound together because we'll get started with it all. Appreciate everybody in the building. Y'all hit the like button. Y'all hit the like button. We appreciate y'all. Everybody in the building. Okay, I think we got your sound together now. It sounds like you getting it together.
How about now? Can you hear me okay?
There it is.
Here we are, guys. First things first, Grand Rising and good afternoon for those who it's afternoon and good evening. And Sabbath has just ended for some of you. It's just getting started for us. So, morning coffee. And we're going to roll this one out a little easy. There's a couple of things we want to discuss today. So anyway, I heard this really interesting story that Odell was regaling me with, and he's going to share some of the deets and the this and the that with us to give us I don't know, a heads up into what's going on out there in the crazy cyber world, because the cyber world is a little nuts these days. You know, we were taking some health days just to get better, feel better. Uh, you know, get out the germs who want to party inside of you and do all kinds of weird stuff and get back to just breathing easier, feeling good. You know how it is. There's a lot of people that are getting sick right now. So salute to everybody who's battling through a germ or this or that. And congratulations to those who skipped it. But I don't know who's here. Maybe we should shout everybody out before we get started. Hey, Auntie Leah, how you doing today? Mel Tucker is in the building. Tara's in the building. Mr. and Mrs. Davis is in the building. Yvonne Wildridge. Quiet one is in the building. Pat Blair. We got Cole Lee. We have some new members here too today. Hey, Phyllis Pryor, welcome.
Mo GG, what's up? Taylor
Hey,
McDonald.
Mochi. Stacy. Okay, well, yeah, and a lot of usual suspects. We got Luna in the building, Maya, Mo Gigi, yeah, got all. Okay, and Melissa. Hello, welcome. So, if there's one thing I'm noticing right now in a lot of the world, it's kind of weird because people are doing all kinds of things. It seems like there's a lot of people that are looking for attention or an easy payout in one way or the other, and social media provides that. Like social media tends to provide that whole I don't know, it's a little chillier than I thought. Uh it provides that whole, quick fix for those who are looking for attention, quick revenue for those who are looking for easy cash out. And so we've been noticing some things. So Odell, do you want to just fill us in on what this is all about? Brick Lady? There's
Yeah,
so much that I miss.
Brick Lady, aka Rosa Osman. She's a Somalian. I believe she's a Somalian descent from Texas. And I'll shout out a few people who I saw this case some time ago. It was about 2 years ago. Um, on September 3rd in 2023, Houston police they responded to an alleged aggravated assault involving this woman here. She claimed a man hit her with a brick because she refused to give him the number, right? And this was
Mhm.
all at a club, and this was all, there's security cameras all over the place. I don't want to skip too far ahead, but essentially, she went to the hospital or emergency room, and she posted this. It looks like, she's about to grow a twin out the side of her face. And shout out to celebrity Daphne. She been going in on just every like she's called the queen of accountability on Twitter. And I didn't know if
Oh.
I should give her I didn't know if I should give her a shout out or not, but she does good work, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, people need to be held accountable for their BS. And she went in and immediately called out this grift because the girl, Osmond, aka Brick Lady, went on social media and immediately started posting video of her looking like this. And people were like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And she's like, "Yeah, some fool hit me in the face with a brick, and yeah." And she got the sympathy, and she got the GoFundMe, and here it is. She raised over for 40K, and this was all false because she did get hit. Apparently, I guess she got hit with a empty water bottle. The guy, there was some altercation or there was some interaction. I'll say that there was no audio, not that I know of, from what I remember in the beginning of the story. There was just audio. I mean, there was no audio, but there was a visual, and she was antagonizing the guy in the club, and threw he threw an empty water bottle at her. And
Can
in
we
turn, she
can you
turned and
just
said it was a brick.
can we slow it down for a second because I'm kind of confused on a few things. Exactly why did she have a GoFundMe?
Yeah, she basically said that she got attacked and she needed help.
Help for
So
what?
so okay, the allegations that she threw out there and went viral, the GoFundMe was created, and of course she listed herself as the beneficiary.
No,
And
I
it
got all of that. She got hit in the face and
allegedly.
allegedly. Um, well, I mean, are we saying allegedly? I thought she went to the hospital and I thought they said that there was evidence that she did get hit in the face, just not with a brick. She got hit in the face with an empty water bottle. I'm just trying to figure out why she needed the GoFundMe. What was the GoFundMe for? Does anybody
Okay,
know?
I, the GoFundMe was just for her. Look, um, she
I
got hit
mean,
in the
was it
face, but an empty
for
water bottle is not going to
security?
do that.
No, I'm just
Well,
saying, was it for security? Would she needed to hire security for when she went out to the club? Did it
well,
create some kind of long lasting
let's
medical
not
condition?
jump. Let me not jump ahead because look, that's what I wanted to get into. What's like still ambiguous, because she went to the hospital. She went looking like that. She looked like, when Martin got beat up by Tommy Hearns. Y'all remember Martin, that episode. Um, she went, and that's why I brought up Celebrity, because I think Celebrity brought up the fact that she had ran this scam before, and it was similar where her face was all swole. Um, and they're
Can
still
I
not
be
trying to.
honest with you?
Go ahead.
If she got hit in the face with a brick, her eye would have been swollen up.
Oh, there would have been a gash too, right? Or you remember the Jay
Yeah.
Leno picture that I had the other day?
There would have been some kind of abrasion. There would have been some
Yeah,
kind of something.
it it would look more like the Jay Leno picture. Yeah. So facts. Number one, and then yeah, like, but Celebrity was able to bring up a case years prior where she was using. She either has some type of condition, or she injected herself with saline or something. I don't know, to get this effect on her face, but the people online were like, "Yo, you're scamming." So investigators, they saw the inconsistencies with her version of events. They went and ran the surveillance footage. They got statements from her friend. The GoFundMe narrative raised questions about whether the assault happened, and this was all reported on the Independent. They ran that news article, and then they ended up basically saying, she's deceiving people. So they charged her with felony theft by deception. Um, and then she posted bond for 10K, and her her trial starts Monday. Her trial
Hmm.
starts Monday. I mean, like I said, I know it's kind of like, dang, y'all see this picture and y'all like, what part of the game is this? And I wasn't trying to sensationalize it or anything like that, or even clown her, but I was just, it's just like, this is wow. It looks crazy when you look at it. It's like, this looks wow, but how did we get here? And like you say, if something just doesn't add up, it doesn't make sense. She got hit with a brick. It wouldn't be just, her eye would be bulged out too, right? Like it would look different.
I mean, I guess we got here just like we got here.
Uh-oh. Well, let's not jump ahead. Let me wrap this up. The still ambiguous stuff. They were basically saying uh she had a, like, again, previous incident in Minneapolis in 2020, and investigators they cited that incident, but the public reporting doesn't confirm the outcome. And like I said, police, private investigators, they basically said, "Hey, you're lying. We're gonna take you to trial. Take you to there's a felony theft by deception, and it looks like she has to stand trial." But it's easy to just kind of run with the story, like, yeah, and it was a black man, of course. Black man hit her in the face with a brick just to get the outrage and people up in arms and get people to donate. She hustled 40K. Um, yeah, and like you said, attention is the new currency. I mean, she got bread too. She got 40K, but I don't know, is it worth it? I don't know how many years she's facing, because if she gets convicted, she's definitely going to be looking at some time.
See, this is the thing. There are so many people that get away with doing exactly what she did online every day. Every day. Like there's people on YouTube right now that's pulling the same kind of stunts and hustling money, just like she did every day.
Hmm.
That's the wild part about it, because she's probably somewhere crying about how unfair it is that this is happening to her. And to a certain extent, she's actually telling the truth. She's actually being honest. It is kind of unfair. It's kind of unfair that a grift that everyone else is running, and they're monetized all the way, she's being held accountable for it. Meanwhile, nobody else is. It's just interesting.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is. And like you
They're
say,
making an
people
example out of her. That's what it sounds like to me. They're making an example out of her.
people do this all the time in this day and age. You're right. And yeah, they're gonna make an example out of her. I guarantee she'll get some time, because if you got investigators and you got the
Is this
police
her
department.
first? Is this her first offense where she's been charged with this? Because the truth is, this happened in Houston. There's a lot of fraud that goes on down in Houston. I'm curious to see how this turns out. I think we should just table this for a second and see how it turns out, because I'd be willing to bet that she's going to get like very little time. She's going to have to pay restitution, and she's going to have
Hmm.
to do a lot of community service, and she's going to be on probation for like ever.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm sure that might be the outcome, because yeah, it's but they're definitely going to make an example. But yeah, we'll table it. We'll see. But the trial starts this week, so we'll see how that play out.
There's a lot of stuff going on in courts. There's all kinds of court stuff that's happening these days. But there's a theme to today. Now y'all saw the thumbnail. But the underlying theme to what we're discussing today and everything that we're talking about today
You're
is
supposed to
pretty
be going.
much.
You're supposed to be
Mhm.
talking about your girl. You about to jump over, and you're supposed to be talking about her. Remember?
Okay, we can talk about her. We can skip to that, because the truth is that's not a lot. There's not a lot to talk about there.
Okay. Your girl, Candace Owens.
Hmm.
So continuing with this theme, Candace Owens. Now you got more information and more insight on what's been going on with her as of recent, but
I mean, I
me
guess.
me being on the outside looking in, I'm looking at it like, yeah, they're just it's about her credibility right now. They're attacking her credibility.
And that's where this conversation gets really weird for me, because I don't understand what's there to attack.
Mm.
I don't. I do not understand what there is to attack. when it comes to Candace Owens, I keep telling people there's something very, very, very off and dangerous about what she's doing. Um, Not only that, it's just weird. It's weird. She's getting a pass in so many different ways that most people just don't get past. Like you're sitting here for 6 weeks. You've been taking us down the Charlie Kirk rabbit hole in honor and in the name of your friend. She's accused everybody in one way or another for being responsible for Charlie Kirk. She's talked about the young man that they've arrested. First, he had an accomplice, then it wasn't him. Then it was this, then it was that, then it was Israel, then it was this, then it was that, then it was this, then it was that, then there were bad actors. He had no real friends. Then there were text messages. It's like it's like some kind of scavenger hunt. And everybody's running around looking for little eggs to see if they find something real inside. I don't get it. But to go through all of that to get to you insinuating that it's Trump and the FBI, and then talking about, well, when they give you a holiday and they name a street after you, that's the signature sign that you've been taken out by the government. How the hell is she getting away with saying this?
Man, that's my question.
If I were to say something like this, my channel would be shut down. I would be demonetized immediately. She's going back to podcasting to her little desk on Monday. There's a gag order. I think it's beyond trying to stay relevant, Melissa.
Yeah.
I think it's beyond that. I don't think relevancy is something that she's worried about. I think she's worried about being effective. Now, I have my own particular views and thoughts on what I think. And guess what? I'm not going to say them. I'm not. Because unlike her, I will not be protected. Unlike her, I won't get a pass. To hear someone ask Megyn Kelly what they think about what Candace is saying, and she gives her a glowing accolade. Oh, well, Candace is some people's cup of tea and not some people's cup of tea, just like me. I'm some people's cup of tea and not some people's cup of tea. But I believe that Tyler Robinson is the person that took out Charlie Kirk. And I've seen all of the evidence and they've showed me this and they've showed me that. And I just think that Candace is really sad and grieving because she really loved Charlie. But I believe this. Which is kind of wild because Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson were backing Candace up in her Israel had something to do with it. Israel had something to do with it. Israel had something to do with it.
They were backing her.
Yeah, they were agreeing to a
Wow.
certain extent. They were kind of going along with it, saying that they were validating her, that the Jewish donors were coming down on Charlie, that the Jewish donors were doing this. They were backing her, that there was a lot of pressure. That they were corroborating her. I don't get it. And the thing I'm not understanding is is, when are we going to get sick and tired of the Candace Owens shuffle? Because that's what this is. In my opinion, as far as I'm concerned, backed by my my First Amendment right and all of that to free speech, I think it's all diversion.
Mm. I think you're right.
I think it's all diversion. My question is, there were people that were saying that her and Charlie weren't really that close to friends. That she was, I mean, nobody has jumped out there and just said it as plain as she's clout chasing off of his passing. Because of all of the people that's been making Charlie Kirk content since his passing, I think it would be fair to say that she's probably made the most money.
Mm.
You know what? Let's count. Let's pocket watch.
Let's
I'll
do
be
it.
right back. Let's pocket watch a little bit.
Let's do it.
Because people love pocket watching everyone, don't they, these days?
I mean, you're not an original hater if you're not pocket watching.
My bad. I just needed to grab one of my other devices. So let's be clear here. If I go and I pull up her channel, let's look at how much money. Let's just look at the views. How about that? How about we look at the views? And let's go back before Charlie Kirk. I mean, this
Well,
is
if
pretty
we run it back, if we run it back, like I was talking about credibility because the most recent incident that I can remember attached to Candace was the situation with Macron.
uh-huh.
And she said some outlandish things about his wife. There was supposed to be some litigation going on. And then all of
Mm-hmm.
a sudden, we don't hear too much about that. Supposedly
Oh
has some
no.
ties to the White
They're
House.
talking, she's not talking about Brigitte Macron at all anymore.
I know.
At all. It's so funny. When I first started questioning why she was so concerned with matters that had absolutely nothing to do with American politics or with American tragedies or any of that. I'm just trying to figure it out. It was Macron, Macron, Macron. 2.2 million views. Now, when she speaks about American issues that aren't so great, it sticks to somewhere around 1 million views. The United States of Israel, 1.1 million views. 1 million views. Okay. I just got subpoenaed. Like, she's always like really, really, really on these hot button. Oh, Brigitte Macron, 3.6 million views. Brigitte Macron, 1.2 million views. And then Epstein, those Epstein numbers started really going down. And then Brigitte Macron sues me for defamation. Now let's take a look at when this video was. This was 3 months ago. That kicked up the second that she got sued. 2.4 million views, right back up.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's just be clear, 2.4 million views for one video, that's about like 25 grand.
Is
Am I
it?
wrong?
That you might be right.
That's somewhere between, like, all depending on how the monetization works. We're talking about anywhere from 17.5 to 25 million bucks. Especially if you're adding in all of those super chats that she gets, and she gets tons of them. Tons of them. Uh so yeah. So then, all right, so here we go. 3 months from the time that she's getting sued. 2.4 million views. She pops back to the Epstein, that goes down a little bit, comes back to Macron. 2 million views. So we're talking about damn near another 20K there. So that just in itself, two videos, we're talking about almost 50K.
Yeah.
Okay. So then she goes back talking about Epstein again. Oh, presents proof that that's 1.8. This is when she first starts getting into all of the proof, all of the proof. 1.8 million. Like, I'm just sitting here looking. And then Trump, Israel, Trump, Brigitte Macron, back to that 1.8, insane update, 1.4 million, Macron. And then it starts to go down a little bit. Drama Club reunion, Macron, Zelensky, that's just a little under a million. Up, Macron gives his victim, okay, 1.3 million. Like, she was living on this.
Mm-hmm.
1.8 million, 1.4 million. And then as that starts to die down, Charlie Kirk. So just off of this whole Macron thing, we're talking about at least damn near like 15 million views.
Yeah.
15 million views, even if you're averaging the YouTube payout at 7 to 10,000 per million, that's I'd be talking about it too if I could get away with doing stuff like this, and not being suppressed, not having my channel demonetized, nothing. Now, let's just be clear. What's going on with the case? That was all anyone could talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, Candace is on break until this Monday. But she was over there doing her book club, and it was able for people to clip it all up of her. No, notice she didn't accuse the president and the FBI lightweight of taking out Charlie Kirk on YouTube. She did it on another platform and then allowed other people to clip it up so that they could run with it. So her image, her brand could still go viral and she not be held accountable for it here on this space.
Yeah.
Oh, I know her husband is caked up. I know that. I'm not, trust me. We're just talking about the integrity of someone's work and the monetary. I don't know. I guess, see, it's funny because we were just talking about this girl who's going to court this week for gaslighting the public into believing something that wasn't real. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
gist of the story with the brick lady, right?
Right.
Something happened and she was able to gaslight the public. She was able to gaslight the public into giving her money for something that wasn't accurate, allegedly. So much so that she's being charged by the authorities where she lives in Houston, Texas, and she's being put on trial, and she's being deception,
There it
right?
is.
Fraud
Yep. Yep.
by Deception is the charge.
Exactly.
So we talking about 15 million views for the Macron story, which she said she wasn't getting off of. She wasn't going to stop talking about it. She was going to stay on it. Meanwhile, she was asking her audience to help raise money and to buy her t-shirts and to do all of this stuff because she didn't have the money to be able to pay off. And let's be clear, the lawsuit from the Macrons against her that's being held where her LLC was in Delaware, okay? It's for 250 million. That's even more than her husband is worth. That's even more. That's 100,000 more
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
her husband is worth.
Yeah.
Fraud by deception. Now let's be clear. The last we heard about it, Brigitte Macron came forward and said she was willing to give medical evidence that she was born a female. Haven't heard anything since then. Candace Owens isn't talking about it at all. Has anyone not noticed? Is anyone other than me noticing that?
It, I, that's what I was saying.
And could you guys do me a favor? We appreciate everyone that's here, but we really would appreciate if you could hit that like button. That would be great. We could use about 300 more likes. That would be awesome. I want everybody to think about that. It was Macron, Macron, Macron. Now, if anybody remembers, about 2.5 months ago, I was calling this person out for what she was doing. Now, all of this started teeter-tottering around the time that Nick Fuentes went absolutely crazy
Yeah. On her and her
for her
husband.
and her husband. You want to know what's funny? I was looking at these two content creators, these two Southern women. One of them was from Texas, and they were sitting there talking about how Candace was gaslighting the public. And they were talking about how she's, stone mad crazy, and how I don't know, but I know now. They were making
Mm,
fun of that.
mm.
These two white women and southern white women. And they were sitting there and they were going in on Candace and they were going in on Candace. And then they started talking about her marriage. And then they started talking about how her husband had done an interview talking about their courtship, which they said they thought was interesting because it wasn't a courtship at all. Matter of fact, they said that he was very adamant about the fact that while they were getting to know each other, that there was nothing romantic that happened between them at all. There was nothing romantic about their relationship at all. And then he just decided to ask her to marry him. And she said yes after 3 weeks. And then they started talking about how Candace likes to say, what's the phrase that they use? It's just kind of fake and kind of gay.
What?
And then and then they started referring that back to her husband and saying that, everybody knows and can see exactly how gay her husband is
God.
and how fake their marriage is. And then the one woman said, well, I mean, they have 4 children. And she was like, yeah, gay men can conceive children. She was like, and everybody can see what's going on. Everybody can see what kind of relationship they have. Like, These are the kind of open conversations that people in other spheres of social media are openly having about the Owens Farmer Union. These are the open conversations. Now it's funny because when I asked why this was happening, what was actually going on in the backdrop, when I'm asking what's really happening here, what's really going on, next thing you know, I start getting attacked by Candace bots. Candace bots showing up in my chat because I'm asking basic questions. Why are people attacking her marriage? Why are people attacking her platform? Why are people attacking her credibility? Yeah, the lavender marriage. You remember Quiet One.
I was about to say that, yo. I remember you said
And
that.
people were sitting there going off and oh my God, Candace is amazing. Candace is great. Have you seen her Becoming Brigitte series? It's brilliant. Have you seen her research is impeccable? Have you seen? Well, apparently at least 15 million views worth of people have seen it. And that's about 150K. That's about 150K in revenue here on YouTube. And that's not including super chats. That's not including her paid endorsements that she promotes on her channel. And meanwhile, ever since Charlie Kirk passed away, she don't say nothing about that no more.
Yeah.
And nobody's asking her what's going on with her case. That was all anybody could talk about here on YouTube for weeks. And now all of a sudden, don't nobody care about what's going on with that case? I just find it interesting that people stopped caring about what was going on with that case when the First Lady of France said she was willing to come forward and do medical scientific evidence that she was born a woman. So, like she said, she was talking about how much the lawyer was going to be. So here we are. Let's start
Let
with
me
my friend Charlie. But go ahead, please chime in.
when it's well, you can pick it back up because it's fun. Well, I'll be looking at certain articles and now it's starting to make sense. Hindustan Times and then the Times of India. Remember, we're going to talk about them, those
Mm-hmm.
media organizations that are in that area. Thank you, Melissa. Yeah, we appreciate that. When you said my friend Charlie, before I didn't know I swear I didn't know you were gonna move in that area, but I was gonna bring up this article where Hindustan Times says Nick Fuentes slams Candace Owens for exposing Charlie Kirk, queening to Nicki Minaj. So I'm not trying to big up Nicki, none of that. But Nick Fuentes, and I'm like, oh, he's back on Twitter. I guess he is. Um, he
Mr. I'm
tweeted,
banned from all social media worldwide, and now he's not.
make that make sense. Candace exposing Charlie Kirk for queening out to Nicki Minaj just for the entire internet to clown him after he was unalived in front of everybody is diabolical. Let this man rest. He tweeted that the other day. And they were just basically uh bringing they're just talking about that in this document. And then Candace Owens tweeted some uh screenshots of her and Charlie's conversation about Nicki Minaj, et cetera, et cetera. I'm sorry. I wanted to bring that up because I was like, well, what else is going on? They said other praise Owens for being a real friend of Charlie. But others found it weird that she was sharing this post. It's really weird. Why would you post this? Somebody on X claimed, and somebody else said Charlie was saying he only listens to classical music.
A lot of people have a lot of competing theories about Charlie Kirk. Some thinks that he prayed for his enemies' downfall, and some think that he prays for his enemies. There's a lot of argument about Charlie Kirk's character from people who spent time with him, knew him, and I don't even want to get into all of that because I didn't know him. I don't have an opinion of him. I didn't follow him. I didn't follow his content. I knew about him. I had heard about him, which is why you don't see us talking about him.
Right.
But let's talk about the people. If you guys remember, we did a video and it's titled Who Really Cares About Charlie Kirk and Why? There were a lot of people that were making money. There were a lot of people that turned Charlie Kirk into one of the biggest fall grifts of the year. And it came at the right time because Diddy content is starting to wane. There's not a lot of social media conversations for people to just go viral off of and have random viral moments off of. Charlie Kirk, unfortunately, showed up at an amazing time to feed everyone on the internet. But let's look at what his friend Candace has done for his memory. Or maybe we should get into why she's doing it. My friend Charlie Kirk, a 23-minute video, 6.8 million views. Just that one video.
Wow.
And we're talking Charlie passed away. She was radio silent. And then the next day, she came back. 24 hours after he passed away. It was funny because that was around the same time when they couldn't find Cash Patel. And they were busy going in on Cash Patel because he didn't show up at the site to investigate what was going on with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And apparently, he had stopped in Nashville, they were saying, to go see his girlfriend before he went to the college. It's funny because Candace Owens lives in Nashville. What a
Mm,
coinky dink. Who would
mm.
know? Who would have thought? Who would have thunk it? But Cash Patel went off the radar. And then Candace Owens went off the radar. And then the next day, she comes back with this video, My Friend Charlie.
Yeah.
6.8 million views. Just that one video. We're talking almost 70 grand for that one video.
Mm.
Can you imagine? Your friend passes away and you just get to go and get a whole bunch of old clips of you and him together. And you get to express how you feel and you get to make $70,000 to grieve.
That's wow. That's
Like,
wow.
I really don't think anybody's paying attention to that. This whole video is money. A lot of money. So 6.8 million. Then they are lying about Charlie Kirk. Next video. 8.9 million views. Almost 9 million views. The next video. We're talking more than 70K now. Like, wow. These numbers are astounding.
Mm.
Astounding. And this is when she first started saying Bibi Netanyahu. And and the Israel government were behind what happened.
Yeah.
This is when she first started insinuating that.
Right.
Okay, so we got almost 7 million and we got almost 9 million. Just those two videos alone is at least 150K. Gosh, in 2 days. 150,000
Wow.
against your friend. And that was the video when she kept saying, and because my friend, he got popped in the neck.
Mm.
And I wouldn't be, but I'm really, because my friend got popped in the neck. She just kept repeating it over and over and over and over again. Next video, Charlie Kirk shooting suspect. They're not telling you this, they're not telling you that. She starts talking about, this is when she starts saying that the roommate, the transgender roommate, someone from the family reached out to her and she had direct access.
Mm-hmm.
This video is 5.8 million. So dips down a little bit. And then it dips down a little bit more. Who ordered the hit on Charlie? That's 4.4. Exclusive. Another photo of Tyler Robinson. That it dips down a little bit more, 3.4. Who moved the camera right above Charlie's head? 4.7. Now it goes back up a little bit. And it goes back down a little bit. Erica Kirk forgives. And the feds forgot.
Mm.
3.5 million. Bearing false witness. Who made the trial? 3.2 million. Breaking news. FBI pressuring Utah. 2.9 million. Charlie Kirk expressed concerns. 3 million even. They're lying about Tyler Robinson. 3.4 million. Dead or alive. Who betrayed Charlie Kirk? 2.9 million. Breaking news. A woman was 2.9 million. Insanity. Guess who Cash Patel?
Mm.
2.9 million. TPUSA wants us to stop asking questions. 2.7 million. TPUSA responds. Yes, the text messages. Now, don't forget, this is when she's putting out all of these text messages as well. Exposing all of these text messages. 2.9 million. Like, she just rolled revelations, the truth about Charlie Kirk. Charlie's final hours. Now let's pocket watch. Let's do the math. And guys, if we could get like another 300 likes, that would be amazing. We got 2.7 million. We got 2.3 million. That right there is 5 million.
Mm-hmm.
5 million views. 2.9 million, 2.7 million. So let's see, what's that? That's 6 carried 1. So that's another 5.5 million views. So we got 10 million views. We got 2.9 million. We got 2.9 million. That's just under 6. Might as well say 6. So now we got 5. We got 5. We got. So now we're talking about 15, 16 million views. We got 2.9. We got 3.4. We're talking about 6 and change. So now we're over 20 million views. We're over 20 million just in those few videos. 3 million, 3 million. It's another 6. So we're talking about right now somewhere between 26 and 27 million views. 3 million, 3.2 million, 3.5 million. Okay, that's another 6, almost 7. So now we're somewhere around 33 million views, maybe 34. We got 4 and 7, and then we got 3 and 4. So there's one. That's about 8 million views. So now we're definitely into the 40 million view category. Then we got 5 and 4. Like, Jesus.
Her overall viewership is about 71 million on all her platforms since that was as of May. Now that all this happened, I'm sure it didn't shot up, but we her audience
No,
is
her subscribers here is 5.45 million subscribers.
okay, and in May it was 4.29. So
So
yeah,
she's
she
picked up
didn't
a
shot up.
million and a half.
And we basically can say what her demographic is. Oh, look,
Brigitte Macron and Charlie Kirk got her a
there's
million
a
and a half subscribers.
there you go. Because there's a hype auditor. There's a new site. So I'm looking at this. This is interesting.
Between Charlie Kirk and the Brigitte Macron content, she has amassed somewhere close to 125 million views.
Yeah, it says a
125 million views.
5% engagement rate. I mean that's what it's about. It's about engagement, and it's about the growth. She's grown significantly, and
And that's just on YouTube. That's not including her Instagram.
that
That's
yeah,
not including her
this is just YouTube.
X.
Yeah,
This is just YouTube.
yeah.
But if you can make anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 per million views, then that would mean shall we do the math? Let's just round it
Let's
down to
do it.
7. Let's just round it down to 7. Let me pull up a calculator just to make sure that I'm not tripping. So, hmm, interesting. Hmm. Can anybody else guess how much money that is? Oh no, it's more than a half a million. It's about 875,000. I'm sorry, 875. Yeah. Yeah. over $750,000. It's not a bad summer on YouTube. It's not a bad summer at all. Not at all. Now, if we're talking about fraud by deception, if you're leading people to believe that you have evidence and facts that proves that someone is a different gender than they're representing themselves as, and you made money off of that. And now you've used your friendship with someone who was just publicly executed, who has national and international internet cachet. And you've taken us all the way down the mulberry bush, from foreign governments being responsible to the FBI being responsible to now you want to finger the president
Wow.
and say that the president allegedly had the FBI take out Charlie Kirk, and nobody's calling bullshit, and nobody, just the internet. No authorities are saying anything.
Well, is that why I see an article here, or not an article, not actually an article. I see there's another YouTuber that dropped something today. I'm not going to say the YouTuber's name. They said Candace Owens is going to jail.
Which is probably just another distraction.
Right.
But if I'm not correct, part of the reason why I called her out months ago, especially during the Brigitte Macron, is because that's exactly what I labeled her as the ultimate social media distraction that she's put on to divert attention. Did I not say that?
Huh? You said it.
And I said how dangerous that I thought that was. But for her to be able to just sit online, do you honestly think my channel would be up and running if I just started running around accusing the president and the FBI of assassinating people?
Heck no, not at
What
all.
I do know, I tell you what I do know. Whatever people were looking at, whatever people were discussing, Candace Owens has taken us so far down a rabbit hole and thrown so many different details. What happened to Charlie Kirk? What happened to Charlie Kirk? What happened to Charlie Kirk? This is what I think happened to Charlie Kirk. We don't know, but we know. I don't know, but I know. I don't know, but I know. It's really interesting. You don't know, but you know. You know. This is what happened to Charlie Kirk every day, leading us further and 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 further away from where her investigation started. Meanwhile, she's wearing t-shirts that say the Candace Intelligence Agency, while she's using the CIA emblem, which nobody is supposed to be allowed to do, and ain't nobody's nobody's holding her accountable for any of the stuff that she's doing.
Wow.
Because this is just kind of crazy.
I didn't know she was. Wait, she used the CIA's logo
Yeah,
for
that's
the
what's on her
cat.
merchandise, the CIA logo. And then she changed it to the Candace Intelligence Agency.
Wow,
And
interesting.
she's selling this stuff.
That's interesting.
And nobody's holding, nobody said you gotta stop doing that. You can't use that. That would be like me creating merchandise using the Jag Core emblem. with my name. Get my new Jag t-shirts, and I'm using the Jag core,
Yeah,
symbol.
yeah.
That would
They
not
would
be
come at you
allowed.
quick. They'll come at you quick.
That would not be allowed. Meanwhile, she was already being accused of having ties to the CIA. She couldn't stop talking about her friend Tucker Carlson, who I think we all know is attached to the CIA. Yeah, I'm sorry. And meanwhile, you've made $750,000 sending everybody out on these wild goose chases. I tell you one thing, Charlie Kirk definitely gave her an out on having to defend her Brigitte Macron content.
Yeah.
She hasn't had to talk about Brigitte Macron since Charlie Kirk passed away.
Nor she had to talk about Weinstein, because I remember her
Yeah,
teasing that. Yeah.
yeah. Those Weinstein videos came and went, and nothing really came from that. Why does nobody ever hold her accountable for anything that she's doing? But for her to sit in her book club and label the president and the FBI as being responsible for the demise of Charlie Kirk, and then talking about, I don't know if it's clever, pretty girl. I don't see what's so clever about just taking your initial and I don't know. I don't know if I was being linked to, or someone was pointing me out as being linked to being attached to espionage and all of this other stuff. I don't know if I would want to run around talking about CIA. I don't know if I would want to do that. I don't know if that's considered clever or if that's just playing in people's faces. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what does the death of Charlie Kirk have to do with your book club? Meanwhile, you're pushing all of this out in that audience, knowing that people are going to take it and clip it and spread it all over social media and use it to go viral with and to sit there and question you about this, that, and the third, but you didn't do it on your YouTube channel. Why not? If you honestly believe that the president and the FBI are allegedly responsible for the demise of Charlie Kirk, if you were going to say that, then why didn't you just stand on it on your channel?
Mm.
You done talked about every other possible variable of what happened to Charlie Kirk. We're investigating. We're investigating. And I'm not saying, and we don't know, but we know. I don't know, but I know now. What the fuck? How does nobody not see this for gaslighting? Because, in my opinion, what she's saying and what she's doing, everything that she's saying and everything that she's doing is gaslighting the public. Am I wrong to say that?
No.
Meanwhile, you're doing it for profit. How is this any different than Brick Girl?
Speaking of for profit, Jag, let's hop into what I was
I'm just
what
trying to figure out, how is this any different than the Brick Lady?
there is no difference. For profit, like you said.
I don't see the difference. You tell a half-baked story based on hyperbole and all of this and that. There's no real facts, there's no real details. You have nothing to show or support these wild, outlandish things that you say. Meanwhile, people say that I'm a liar. She sat there and fingered the president and the FBI for taking out Charlie Kirk, and nobody in that audience held her accountable and said, "You got to show us some evidence. You got to show us some proof of it." Oh man, you know when they give you a holiday and they in a street, you know that that's like the code that the FBI took you out. And then comparing it to Martin Luther King.
Stop it.
I bet you Charlie Kirk Boulevard isn't even going to be in a good neighborhood. And he didn't get a holiday. He got a he the public was urged to honor his birthday this year. That's not a national holiday. And the street that he so-called got is in Israel. It's not even here.
Right.
So yeah, I'm not understanding. Um, I don't understand how some people say some really outlandish things for money online and get held accountable, and then others get to say outlandish things online, monetized out the wazoo, and it's cool. Thank you, Michael. It's kind of wild to me how that works. So yeah, anyway, on to the next gaslighting situation that's been going on this week. Kevin Federline versus Britney Spears. How do you guys feel about that? Has anybody bought Kevin Federline's book?
They say only about 1,200 people bought it. So
You know, I went back and I was looking at old interviews of him and Britney when they first started out. That was interesting. That was really interesting. Seeing them online and they were sitting there on Ellen. And Ellen was so excited and she was going to be the godmother and she had all these questions to ask about the intimate personal life and how they got together. Of course, nobody mentioned anything about the fact that he was in a relationship with Shar Jackson from Moesha. She was pregnant with, I think, their second child while he was running off with Britney. And Shar Jackson has done like multiple interviews on how, you know, she was totally just cast aside and thrown out like a day old bread. You know, she told a really sad story about giving birth to their second child. And apparently, Britney Spears was supposed to be in the car while she was giving birth. And then, right after she delivered the baby, he ran off with Britney. And then the next thing you know, Britney was pregnant.
wow.
And then Britney had two babies back to back. And then the next thing you know, the marriage was over.
Hmm.
Not long after that, Britney was deemed not fit to take care of herself. And she was put in that awful conservatorship. Like, I don't think anybody's paying attention to the timeline, but there are things that I don't think people have acknowledged. And I'm just going to,
I mean, when you were breaking it down, that's why I said this will be a great subject. Because I said, oh, because I don't follow Britney Spears. From what I remember, her and the Justin Timberlake thing. I know she was a Disney child actor. She became this singer. They like sexualized her. It was crazy. And then all of a sudden, I do remember the Kevin Federline thing in the early 2000s, and then I do remember, yeah, he was with Shar Jackson, and all of a sudden, boom, he's with Britney, and then they married. Then boom, it's like out of nowhere, same. It's just as quick days as they're married, as quick divorce.
During the May 2025 federal trial of Sean Diddy Combs, his former partner Cassie Ventura testified that Combs brought Britney Spears to her 21st birthday party in Las Vegas
Mm.
back in 2007. Let's pay attention to these details. Oh, and where's the image? Here we go. This is back in 2007. So let's just go over some details. When did Brittany and Justin break up?
Well, that like in 2000.
2002.
Okay,
Okay. That's when they officially broke up. Now,
right when you dropped your
when,
album, huh?
mm-hmm, when did Brittany and Kay bed?
That had to have been 2006, 7.
Actually, no. They got married in 2004 and they were divorced by 2007.
Yeah. Hmm.
They weren't even married 3 years. It had been like
No,
2 years
two
and
and a half.
change.
Yeah.
So, are y'all seeing this? 2007. So we go from the Justin Timberlake, because let's not forget that when she was with Justin Timberlake, we didn't find out until she put her memoir out recently that she had a bathroom baby deletion that Justin Timberlake made her do because he didn't want it to ruin their images.
Mm.
I want y'all to think about that, how traumatic that must have been for her young self. Because she loved Justin and she wanted to have that baby, but Justin said no. So she was forced to do a homemade DNC on herself to cover up the whole thing. And then Justin Timberlake came forward and labeled her with a scarlet letter and said that she was cheating on him and she was this and she was that. This is 2002. By 2004, she was married. It's 2 years later. She's married to this guy who she just got introduced to by, a dancer or someone who was around. And he was in a relationship with someone else. Someone else was pregnant. But they hit it off right away. And now he's got a book saying that he caught her cheating
Mm. How
with the
convenient.
very woman that introduced them in
Right.
the lesbian tryst. And then she was getting high and she was doing all of this stuff. And while she was breastfeeding and she was this, she was that, yada, yada, yada.
And he made a request for her to not do D-rugs while they were
Yeah, he went to
breastfeeding.
a
And
lawyer.
right.
He didn't take her to a rehab. He didn't bring in anyone to get her help. He went to a lawyer so it would be publicly on record,
Right.
his accusation. So it would be able to be uploaded in sites like Pacer for people to be able to pull those details, to pull her card. And right after that, she filed for divorce. And her
Right.
life has never been the same again.
Yeah.
Now, this was July 30th, 2007.
Yeah.
Let's go back to hmm. Wow, that was fast. See, she was divorced from Kevin Federline in July 2007, and September 2007, she was at that party. Diddy brought
Wow.
her to Cassie's party.
Wow. And what happened at that
2007.
party? What happened at that party? Because I like I said, I was very oblivious to this whole Britney Spears stuff. She got the divorce. Months later, she's at a Diddy party. What happened at that party?
Okay, Sean Diddy Combs' trial, Cassie's graphic testimony. Let's take a read, shall we?
And yeah, you guys, Yvonne, I do feel bad for her too, because you can. This is. I'll talk about it later. Go ahead.
Horrible and disgusting. Cassie's graphic testimony of abuse leaves Sean Diddy Combs' fate hanging in the balance. That's interesting. That's interesting. Let's get to the part. She already felt trapped in a cycle of physical and sexual uh, trauma. Well, look, let's just get to it. We don't need to do a whole bunch of reading.
No.
Allegedly, Britney Spears was brought to Cassie's 21st birthday party where Diddy first started insinuating himself very heavily into Cassie's life. And rumors have said that Diddy not only pharmaceutical Britney out, but he allegedly essayed her at that party as well. And they
Mm,
said it was said by witnesses that saw Britney leaving the party that she did not look good,
mm,
that she looked disoriented. I'm not even sure if they've been honest about whether or not she walked out on her own 2 feet or was carried out.
mm,
All of this is alleged. I'm not, people can do their own research. But I just wanted to point out a few details of the descent of what happened, of what we're looking at that has happened in the public eye to Britney Spears. Justin Timberlake sets her up for her first humiliation ritual in 2002. K-Fed comes in 2004. She's divorced by the summer, July of 2007, and then she's being escorted into a party where people are saying not only was she pharmaceuticaled out, but she was essayed by the diddler, allegedly, at Cassie's party, where Cassie, I believe, is saying that was like the beginning of her whole descent into the
downfall. Yeah.
FO world
Yeah.
and all of the pharmaceuticals that was being placed upon her.
Yeah.
Okay. When did Britney Spears begin This is sad. So y'all gonna have to forgive me because for me this is sad. But we're gonna show y'all her conservatorship.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you know, but there's a moon, a hollow moon that keeps showing up in the camera. Oh wow. Britney Spears' conservatorship began in February 2008. Divorced from K-Fed after less than 3 years marriage, two babies back to back. She goes to the Cassie party in Vegas with Diddy. September, October, November, December, January. 5 months later, she's in a conservatorship.
Wow.
5 months later. I want y'all to think about that timeline. Britney Spears' conservatorship began February 2008 following a petition from her father, Jamie Spears, after a series of public struggles with her mental health. A judge granted a temporary conservatorship, which was extended and became permanent by the end of that year, lasting 13 years until its termination in November 2021. Well, she was in the conservatorship by February 2008. She would have lost the boys at that time. The conservatorship pretty much deemed her mentally incompetent and not able to take care of her children.
Right. And the kids were very young, less than 5 years old.
The kids were very young. So Kevin Federline went and said that she was doing pharmaceuticals while she was pregnant, went to a lawyer, pretty much had her listed as an unstable and neglectful and dangerous parent. She filed for divorce because of it. And then the next thing you know, she's at a Diddy party. She was never the same after that. And then she's in a conservatorship. And let's not forget, Lou Taylor was the person that was overseeing her conservatorship. And Lou Taylor and Diddy are very close friends.
Wow.
I want y'all to think about that. Lou Taylor, Diddy, and the Kardashians are all a part of that church.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
Church of California foolishness.
Mm-hmm.
Are y'all not looking? The second that she got away from K-Fed, they had her in a conservatorship and then they made it last for 13 years. Now let's ask another question. How much money did Britney Spears earn during her conservatorship?
Yeah, see, look, that's very wild because you were letting me know that they had her on tour, she had a residence. I'm like, I thought if she was not mentally capable of doing, it's like, okay, you set her down and let her just chill. And they had her on all types of psych meds and stuff. So I'm sure, yo, that's crazy. So they were making money off. How much money did they make off of her?
Britney Spears earned millions during her conservatorship, with her estate managing billions in revenue from her work, though her
Wow.
father, Jamie Spears, was paid at least 5 million. It's difficult to calculate her total earnings as the money was managed by the conservatorship, but her income came from tours, residencies, and her catalog, while a significant portion went to fees for lawyers,
Wow.
managers, and her father. Her estate also covered her living expenses, legal fees, and child support payments. And Kevin Federline was getting about 40 grand a month.
Wow. Wow. He was just like a professional bum. He's the
And
real
some.
professional baby daddy.
Spears continued to earn money through projects like her Piece of Me, Las Vegas residency, the Femme Fatale album, and her back catalog, Forbes notes. Expenses and fees. A large portion of her earnings went towards conservatorship related expenses, such as legal and attorney fees, that, according to one lawyer, exceeded $36 million. The lawyers. Her father, Jamie Spears, was paid a monthly salary of $16,000 for his role as conservator, plus a percentage of tour and merchandising sales. Personal spending. Her personal expenses during the conservatorship were also significant. For instance, in 2012, she spent $6.8 million of the nearly 14 million the conservatorship earned that year. 6.8 million on what? She
How
wasn't
long?
allowed she wasn't allowed to spend her own money.
Yeah, that's what I was,
So what did she spend? She wasn't allowed to have a debit card or a credit card. She wasn't really even allowed to have cash. She wasn't allowed to do anything. So who spent the 6.8 million? Court filing. Spears also paid her ex-husband, Kevin Federline. Oh, I'm sorry. Not 40,000, 20,000 a month.
oh, 20. Okay.
My
Well, that's
bad.
still a lot.
20,000 a month for child support during the conservatorship.
So she had a residency at Planet Hollywood for 4 years.
Mhm.
It made 138 million. And apparently people liked it. It won, Best of Vegas award in 2 years for 2015, 2017. And
This is
she
worse than
she's a,
Wendy Williams,
yeah. Like
because Wendy
I
Williams got to raise her son. Wendy Williams, Kevin wasn't, little Kevin wasn't, affected by what they did to Wendy until he went to college.
until he
She
was older.
actually got to have her life. Britney
They took the
Spears was
kids
moved.
they took the kids away from her. That's sad. I want to and let's talk about that real quick because in
Oh,
the
hold on a
book I
second.
know.
Luna has a very
Oh,
interesting
Luna.
comment here. Thank you for the super chat, Luna. She says, "Don't forget Robin Greenhill. Robin Greenhill, Lou Taylor's bestie. She helped keep Britney a prisoner. Robin was mentioned during Diddy's trial because she pays Jane
Mm.
Doe's bills."
Oh, see, and that's all that see, a whole nother conversation. So why they're really not talking about Rico, but
You
um
know what I find interesting? That nobody thought Britney Spears should come and testify during Diddy's trial.
they could have easily
She
dismissed her
was there
because
at the party.
but they could have just tried to dismiss her. Like, see, this whole media thing, that's why I even said talk about this because this media all of a sudden Britney out in the media, it's like a setup to me. It's a setup for a sacrifice, if you ask me. I was very oblivious to all the money that she was making over these past years,
She
and
made a
we
lot
know,
more money during her conservatorship than she's making
that she
now.
made.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't that funny? The largest money that she's made in her career was made during that conservatorship. She wasn't allowed to have access or have any real freedom in her life, but then again, she had been affected. So let's take a look at this. The diddler is known for using pharmaceuticals to harm or induce harm on people.
Yeah.
It was alleged, and for some testified, that Britney Spears, right after she left Kevin Federline, was brought to Cassie's party, and something happened to her that night at that party. Matter of fact, someone said that they heard Diddy bragging about what he had done to her. Then the next thing you know, she's in a conservatorship. Less than 6 months later, and Diddy's friend, Lou Taylor, is in charge of it. And thank you uh,
Yeah. Thank you, Luna.
for that detail. So all of this is happening. Her largest money is made while she's being controlled. Her largest money is made while she's being controlled. And then the second that the conservatorship is over, all of a sudden, the money ain't really rolling in like that. Now, she did put the book out, and I think the book helps her.
Yeah.
The book helped her. She was able to profit off of that.
Mm-hmm.
And now, less than 4 years later, this is what we're seeing. Now we have videos of her being reported to be driving while under the influence. We have paparazzi following her again,
Daily
stalking
Mail.
her again, filming her while she's swerving up and down the road. You want to know what I found really interesting about that? If everyone was so concerned about what she was doing and her well being, why didn't anyone call the police?
Yeah.
Why didn't anyone call the police?
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Or was all anyone was interested in was getting the footage?
Now, Taylor, hold on. Taylor said K-Fed should be able to tell his story. She started it. Yeah, you're right. K-Fed should be able to tell his story. But listen, it's looking like a setup to me. She she can create her memoir and put it out there and profit from it. No problem. He can
This
do
is
it as well.
no, this is the thing though.
But who more people care about? I think more people care about her story. You got people that will listen to what K Fed has said, but overall, yeah, I just think he's doing a whole lot because I'm just thinking of we were talking about the what's going to happen later or what could possibly happen later.
See, this isn't about what Kevin Federline is saying. This isn't about his story. It's not even about Britney's story. It's about the facts and the details of how things are being lined up. She made her most money while she was being controlled. And now that she's no longer being controlled, all of a sudden she's falling apart again. What I see is them creating, and meanwhile, he's sitting online trying to bring himself to tears, putting out the story that the children are afraid that she's about to be gone.
And then you say
She's,
that
she's about to be gone.
the children spent time with Brittany at one point because they haven't really spent time with her. But you know what? Within the last 5 years, I think one of the sons was with her once, saw her once, and something weird happened, or
They're saying a bunch of weird things happen. They're saying that she's inappropriate around them. The kids are saying a bunch of stuff. And what's wild is that I don't even think, like, I think there was a story about she needed to give them money in order for them to be willing to spend time with her. Like, I don't think these
Wow.
children really have an emotional attachment to her in that way at all. And the
No,
truth is,
no.
the person that they've been being raised at is the person that gets to control the narrative of how she's viewed.
Right.
Now, um, make you no mistake about this. Do I think that some of the stuff that she's doing is erratic? Yes. Do I think she's being triggered? Absolutely. Where is the friend that she just went out to dinner with when they captured all of this stuff? Because if I saw my friend and I knew that my friend was drinking and I was there with my friend and I didn't think she was doing well enough to be able to make it home on her own, the last thing I'm going to do is let her get in a car and drive.
No.
If she insists on her car making it to the house, then that's perfectly fine. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to leave my car here and I'll just Uber back and get my car in the morning and I'm going to drive you home in your car.
Right.
That's what a friend would do. So tell me something. Why is nobody questioning the friend? Because the friend was holding her hand while she was walking her out the door. But in
Right.
a lot of the footage that we have from this so-called Britney falling apart in public, you don't see the friend. They only seem to grab footage and images of when the friend wasn't around. And what I'm trying to get y'all to understand is that what it's looking like is that they're creating a scenario. If she's gone, if something happens, if some kind of terrible accident happens in the next year, do you know what's definitely going to happen? The whole world is going to cry. They're going to mourn. They're going to talk about how sad it was. They're going to talk about this. They're going to talk about that. They're going to make a ton of money off her music. They're going to make a ton of money off of her catalog. Kevin Federline's book is now going to be looked as something different. It's not going to be looked as a grift off of her name. It's going to be looked at, he was trying to warn us. He was trying to do this. And then I bet you it finally makes the bestsellers list then. Um, does nobody else see the lineup? This woman has been manipulated and moved around her entire adult life. Her entire adult life. And now, with everything else that's going on, I think it's fair to say she might be experiencing some depression.
Yeah. I definitely I feel so bad for her because you can see it in this picture and you see it or not. Like, yeah, this is another example of, you know, need the most help, she get the most help. She's somebody he needs help. She got nobody around her. She needs the right people around her. Like you say,
Oh no, they have the right people around her. They have
no,
the
but they
people that will help
they
drive her
she
over the
needs the right
edge around
she
her.
needs the right people that's gonna keep her safe. Yeah, and out
How
of
do
the
they make
bull.
money off of that?
Right, exactly. But no,
How
I'm
do
just
they make
saying,
money off of that? I'm telling you right now, in my opinion, I think that they're pissed off that the public made so much noise that they had to drop her conservatorship and they came up with another inroad to be able to get that money back. When
yeah,
they're used to making money off of you, that's what they want. They want to make money off of you. Why do y'all think Prince wrote slave, had slave carved into his beard? Because this is what it's all about. But and then they're saying that apparently now she's exposing the fact that she suffered from some brain damage.
yeah, yeah,
I tell you one thing, if she passes away in a car crash or a accidental OD or finds herself in a bad situation, everything that they've showed us in these past 18 months will be enough to make sure that nobody bothers to ask any questions or hold anyone else responsible for her demise but her. This is what they do. SCX, pharmaceuticals, and rock and roll. The very things, the very vices that they ask you to promote, the lifestyle they ask you to promote, is what they get to use to explain away your demise. And then the machine gets to keep making money off of you. Now, I'm not saying that she's not unwell. I'm not saying that she's not struggling from anything. I'm not saying that, I'm saying that it's probably fair to say that she ain't been right for quite some time. And as far as Kevin Federline is concerned, when you go back and you look, welcome, Mystic, if you go back and you look at the old footage, he never really looked that invested in her. Matter of fact, they were telling a story on Ellen where she said she asked him to marry her. But then there were also moments where she was still crying over Justin Timberlake, saying that she wasn't even over that situation. So why would you marry a woman that was still caught up over another man? And why were you lying to the woman who you had pregnant, who you had been in a relationship with for years? Why were you lying to her about your relationship with the superstar starlet that you were dating? Like, don't get me wrong. I'm telling you right now, in my opinion, I think I think Kevin Federline was hired to line her up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think right now this book is just him fulfilling his role as, and she was right about the statement that she made, that he's gaslighting. And he is. He is gaslighting. It's easy for him to be able to say that she's mentally unwell. She's been on lithium, she's been on all kinds of stuff. We don't know what her mental state is like after years of pharmaceutical induced abuse.
Exactly.
We don't know. But when I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the details, she don't talk about her Disney years. She don't talk about her time as a mouseketeer. She don't talk about none of that. Matter of fact, none of them do. Christina Aguilera don't talk about it, neither does Justin Timberlake. Isn't that interesting? That
That
pivotal moment that put all of them in position to become the big stars that they are, and they don't ever talk about any of that. None of it. By 2002, her reputation was already being destroyed by, her teenage love affair with a guy who has been known for lining women up in the public eye. From what he did to Britney Spears' reputation, what he did to Janet Jackson at the Super Bowl. Like, are we not looking?
I'm saying, it's the evidence is there.
DiCaprio as well.
Mm.
Let's look. 2002, and then she gets thrown into this relationship, this whirlwind relationship, because it was a whirlwind relationship. They were married in less than a year of meeting each other, and most of the time that they were together, he was on the road with her while she was touring. Meanwhile, he had a baby with another chick who he supposedly loved and cared about, and then just left her to go run off and be with Britney. Then he does the interviews, and let's not forget they had a reality TV show. Are we all forgetting about that? They had a reality TV show about their whirlwind relationship. And then the next thing you know, he's accusing her of being an addict and doing things while she was mothering their children. She files for divorce to get away from him, and then she's in a conservatorship. I'm just saying, this don't look like what I think a lot of people should be acknowledging it to be. I don't know. But I don't like the fact that every time you turn around now, it's like it's 2015, 2016, 2017. Britney Spears is the meal that the media is feasting on. And the very people that helped line her up are the very people that are now playing a part in creating a bunch of hoopla. Yeah, this Kevin Federline book, if anything happens to her, that book's gonna sell. And he's gonna go out on another press tour.
Right. Or you'll have a follow-up book.
Or maybe the next book will be from the kids and how they survived their mom.
Mm.
Because, see, that's a book that nobody will question because they're the kids. I I implore everybody to keep Britney Spears in your prayers, man, because
Definitely pray for her. That's yeah. That's just sad.
so should we get to it now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We got. Oh, I didn't even.
Should
Why
we
I
get
didn't
to
send
it
it to
now?
myself. I didn't even send it to myself. The main. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't send it to myself, but yeah, let's get to it.
Here we are, guys. So before we came up with the lineup of conversation today for the live today, because we know we haven't been live in a while, so we figured this one was probably gonna be a little bit. So we wanted to create just a timeline. And once again, we're talking about gaslighting and profit, really? Because that doesn't have anything to do with this.
It's a joke. Yeah, that's supposed to be
A joke. No, but you're right. Gaslighting 101, because that's the theme of
Of what we're
what we're
talking
talking about.
about today. Now, for those of you who don't know, the gentleman in the camel colored hat, that's Katt Williams' biological brother, Stephen Williams. Now, for those of you who don't know, just to, when this interview happened with Trashy the Grouch, to which allegedly I was mentioned for whatever reason, I don't know why. Stephen Williams had reached out to us a year ago,
Yeah. Word.
or should I say, the people that he works with reached out to us to do an interview with him. And he wanted to do an interview with me about his brother and how nobody really knew his brother and how people were all wrong about his brother, and he wanted to bring certain things to light with me.
Hmm. It was basically almost they said what, an expose, somewhat.
And I wasn't interested. Didn't want anything to do with it. Now, at no point in time while we have this conversation am I interested in going after or defaming or disgracing Stephen Williams in any way. I'm not. We're just going to talk about the facts and we're going to talk about what we see. And the biggest problem that I have with the Stephen Williams interview over there with the drunk people in the wine basement, the wino basement, is Did anybody bother to do their homework? Did anybody bother to check in to this guy? Now, what I will say is we didn't. We didn't look into him. We didn't look into his background. We didn't do any of that. My spirit told me that this wasn't right and to stay away from it. And I stayed away from it for good reason, apparently. Um, for whatever reason, Trashy the Grouch loves to go and she loves to dig up um, irrelevant or impaired or just not reliable sources for her so-called exposés. Now, I would know because she did an expose on me and she's still trying to make money off of it to this day. She put it up on Amazon Prime. She has it here on YouTube where she sat down with a bunch of people from my past that I have nothing to do with anymore. An ex-spouse, you know, my first ex-husband is no different than Kevin Federline. No different.
Mm.
And I promise you this, let something happen to me, he'll be trying to write a book about me. He'll be trying to do interviews about me. Real rap. Um, and I say that not because I'm trying to drag anybody into anything. I'm just trying to let y'all know that there is a prototype that they use to disgrace, harass, and target artists, especially artists who don't want to comply with the system anymore, especially artists who want to get away from the system, especially artists who have somehow broken away from their power structure and their power hold and they don't get to make money off of them the way that they used to, or at least not in the abundance that they would prefer. You guys following me? And we appreciate the likes that we have so far. If we could get 300 more, that would be amazing. Thank you. So let's be clear. I'm telling you that as an artist who got away from the system. And it's so funny because people like to often say, my career was irrelevant, I'm irrelevant, I'm not this, I'm not that, yada, 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 we'll do, whatever have you. The reason why I don't have more stats is because I started breaking away from the system as early as I possibly could. I became an independent artist, and of course, those stats change. Because an independent artist, your stats are overshadowed by the artists that are still attached to the system. They pay people to not write about you. They pay people to do hit pieces on you. They pay people to create all kinds of whatever to discredit you. So if you speak out or when you speak out, no one wants to believe you. So here we are. Stephen Williams. Now, when this interview first came out, it was said that he did not want to come forward. He was reluctant to come forward. He's been keeping all of this to himself for quite some time. And the only reason he's coming forward now is because he had no choice. He needed to let the public know that his brother isn't who he says he is. Wah, 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 da, da, yada, yada. And guess what? Turns out his brother has spent a lot of time in a mental hospital. Matter of fact, he was released not that long ago.
Mm.
I guess since the last time he reached out to us last year. See, this is what I find funny. They be so busy trying to come for people that they don't even bother to check
Not at all.
what it's really hitting for. Like the way they tried to put me in that lawsuit, that Ashley Parham lawsuit, that's turning out to be one of the biggest joke lawsuits of the Diddy lawsuit saga that there is. And maybe we should talk about that a little bit before we go. Throw that in. Because there have been some new updates
Well,
regarding that lawsuit.
I'm actually working on some. Well, yeah, we can talk about it. You already know. You saw what I was working on. But yeah,
But let's just let's deal with Mr. Williams here.
well, let
Now,
me say this. Let
yeah,
me say this real quick because again, yeah, there's proof, y'all. Someone did reach out on behalf of Stephen Williams and said, "Hey, they wanted to do a interview with Jaguar Wright," and I said, "Okay," because I think I got a call. I'm searching text messages. It was a call, the text message, and I said, "All right, let me let Jag know." And yeah, immediately you was just like, "Nah," and I was like, "Yeah, okay, it is what it is," and that was that. We left it be. So when it popped up as of recent that he sat with old girl, I said, "Oh, so
a
what's this
year
about?
later.
What's this about?" So I didn't pay the money to see the interview or nothing like that. But I got people that will put me up on game. It appears this whole thing was just about family conflict and allegations that uh Katt Williams was basically his brother was making about the past and his public persona. And it covered childhood abuse, alleged his alleged misrepresentation and family trauma. Because I think they had a clip about the children, his children. Remember, he talked about all the
Mhm.
children that he
Yeah, they tried
yeah,
to make it seem like he adopted those children so that he could essay them.
yeah, yeah. It's sick.
He told a story about how Katt Williams was living with one of their cousins and they were in a homosexual relationship. He talked about how he had been violated as a child by Katt, but wouldn't admit to anything, while Trashy K was busy sitting there trying to stoke him, to get him to say something, to get him to say something, to get him to say something. He was smart enough not to put himself in
Yeah,
real danger of being sued and said, well, no, there was no, penetration or whatever, but you don't know what I went through and whoop de whoop de woo and yada yada yada. There was a lot. He also was talking about lightweight trying to invalidate what Kat had to say about the industry and, as they would call, his industry exposure. And he made mention of Cat Williams pretty much just watched a bunch of social media and watched what a bunch of other people had to say, and then he created his attack on the industry based off of what he saw, not that he really knew anything or what he had to say was relevant. You want to know what's funny? People say the same thing about, some people have said the same thing about me. Tag don't know anything. Tag don't know anything. She just watches a bunch of content creators and then she comes up with stuff. Why is it always the same script? Either you don't know what you're talking about, you got it from someone else and you're regurgitating information, you're a pdf, you're a this, you're unstable, no one in the family really likes you, no one in the family really and mind you, this all comes from people who are unstable on record. you know Trashy K's biggest source against me is my half sister, Lachelle, who everyone in my family knows is totally unstable, long term pharmaceutical addiction, and abusive. Also, a thief, a known liar, and everything that they've tried to push off on me as a parent is exactly what she is in real life as a parent. It's funny because these kinds of people always come online and they project who they were. And see, the reason why Trashy K was able to get a few people from my mother's side of the family to come and say a bunch of things about me is because they were upset that I exposed our family and all of the horrible essay history and the and you know the abuse, you know, and all of that.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
were upset that I put that out there. They were upset that I was honest about some of the things that happened in the family, of course, things that did not make them look well.
Right.
I'll never forget having a cousin call me saying, "Oh, well, the family's mad at you because you got us looking crazy out here." And I'm like, "Do I have y'all looking crazy out here? Or is the truth that the family is crazy and I'm just being honest about it?"
Mm.
So, see, this is what I don't understand. How do people like Trashy K have these platforms that people will spend all of this money? Because I want everyone to understand, if you spent $12.99 to go to her website to watch this mentally ill man, because that's what they're saying. Now, what I find even funnier is Trashy K is the one who leaked this information. So, for those who like to say that I backpedal, no, see, a total backpedal, and allegedly she deleted the interview that she did with this man. So I think, how does the story go? How did we hear it? Katt Williams reached out to Trashy K to let her know the truth about his brother, that his brother lied. He is in contact with his family. He does financially support his parents. He's the one that's in and out of mental hospitals. And apparently, she was able to go and research the detail and find out he actually does have mental health background and he's been in and out of mental facilities for quite some time. Now, what I find interesting is that when he came, or when his people came to us to try to get us to interview him a year ago, we didn't have to do no research. I knew it was off. I knew it was wrong, and I
And
didn't
it
jump on it.
and even if we just imagine if we did, you already know how I do it. The case we're working on right now, how deep I be diving, right? I'm gonna find something and be like, yo, what's up with this? It would have been as simple as, okay, what's the background with you, bro? And we already kind of knew what he was on, so that's why I was just like, okay, whatever. I mean, this guy alleged that Cat lied about being abused as a child. That's what he's saying in this now taken down interview. Um, there's a lot of things that I just would have been like, the red flags just would have been up. Like, okay, so Cat's lying about not being abused as a child. So that's what you say. What did you say? What did you see?
You want to know
Or
what's funny? When Demore Hadley sat down with Trashy the Grouch earlier this year, and she asked her, was she paranoid? And she said that her team did research, and it seemed like she was just paranoid about her claims regarding her mother and the Rock Nation infiltration into her life and the abuses that happened to her and her unlawful detainment and all of that. Paranoid. So your
well,
team does research on Demore, but they didn't do research on Steven? Like, when do your people actually do research? I'm curious, what kind of research do they do? Or Is it that you're just looking for the most salacious, wildest thing, and whoever you can to get on camera to come and say salacious and wild and crazy things to gaslight the public into believing a bunch of lies about someone who they love, someone who they trust?
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how that works. It's just wild to me that people actually spend $12.99 a month. So all of those people who spent money to watch this interview that allegedly now has been taken down because she feels like she got played. How did you get played? You didn't get played. You didn't do your research. And you platformed a man that was mentally ill. And what it sounds like to me is that somebody reached out to you and let you know you got X amount of time, especially with your background of being sued for lying on entertainers. You got X amount of time to take that down, or we're going to start posting up the documents that prove that this man is mentally ill and that you platformed a mentally ill man to go after someone's persona, someone's professional reputation, to destroy it. What was even sicker, though, was that leading up to your interview with this person, you attached the Reggie Carroll story to it. Or is everyone forgetting that?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
used Ray J crying about how his mama and his sister don't love him no more. You used all of this to pump this interview up with this man. And you call me mentally ill? What kind of sicko weirdo do you have to be? You brought his brother online. Welcome, Crystal. You brought his brother online to line him up as a PDFer, to make all kinds of wild claims about him, to invalidate anything that he has to say. And then you sat there and you used Reggie Carroll to inflame people. Because everybody in comedy love Reggie Carroll, and you did this and you did that. And y'all, I'm not saying that y'all, I believe this is how you did it, Trasher. I'm not saying that you need to believe everything that's said in this interview. I'm saying that you need to store it in the back of your mind and just, because I'm telling you, and what happened with Reggie Carroll and this and that and whoopty whoopty woo and yada yada and blah blah and Reggie Carroll, because Reggie Carroll was, and everyone loved him, and Cat didn't do this. But I'm just saying, you need to keep it in the back of your mind. And then you air this. You had several content creators, including Uda on the Go or Uda on Go, promoting this video that you did with a man that you didn't even bother to check any of his background or any of the things that he was saying. You got nothing. All you needed was that he was Katt Williams' brother. And see, this is why we're talking about this. Because I want everybody to think about all of the hit pieces that she does on people. I was not going to let this go unacknowledged or unchecked, because see, this is internet gaslighting for profit. I want y'all to think about everything that we've talked about today, from the brick lady, gaslighting the public, gaslighting the internet for profit. Unfortunately for her, the authorities decided that they was going to take her to court over it, that they was going to press charges, and they was going to do that. It's funny, of everyone that we talked about today, the only person that, the normal, regular, everyday person Isn't that interesting?
Hmm.
That's the person that's being charged. I want y'all to think about that. Why has nobody ever asked Trashy K to get my sister Lachelle Wright Wallace, Lachelle Angela Fields Wright Wallace, on camera to confirm all of the lies that she's told about me over the course of the past 5 years? Why? Why has there never been an in-camera interview? It's funny because she even said it herself in her so-called 3-part expose on me that Lachelle confirmed all of these terrible things that she's saying about me is true, but she refused to go on camera. All they care about is profit. We talked about Candace Owens and all of her so-called exposés that lead to nowhere, with no real conclusion to anything other than the fact that she's made almost $1 million in less than 6 months, gaslighting the public, from Brigitte Macron to Charlie Kirk. Britney Spears. The way the media is now back to gaslighting the public regarding this woman, and yet nobody wants to talk about the clear lineup that has happened to her life since the breakup with Justin Timberlake in 2002. I want y'all to think about that. That's 23 years. They've been going in on her life. 23 years. All for profit. And this leads us to this story. You platformed someone that has a legitimate mental health diagnosis. You didn't bother to look into this person. You didn't bother to check and verify anything that he said. See, neither did we. We just said no. That's the difference. We just said no. But see, it's the internet lineup of it all. Because see, all summer long, especially since Reggie Carroll passed away, people have been coming for Katt Williams' neck. Am I wrong about that? They've been coming at Katt Williams' neck all through the Diddy trial, coming at Katt Williams' neck. After Reggie Carroll passed away, they kept trying to push it. They kept trying to push it. They kept trying to push that story. Katt Williams is responsible for Reggie Carroll's demise. Katt Williams is responsible for Reggie Carroll's demise. And it wouldn't take hold no matter who they got to talk about it. No matter who they got to talk about it. And then the next thing you know, they go and they find this brother. And this isn't me attacking him at all. But you wouldn't need to take the interview down if you weren't in legal trouble. I just want to know, when are people online going to start holding these people who like to gaslight and inflame people with less than credible information that really don't add up and go to nowhere? People that sit there online for hours upon hours upon hours trying to convince you to either hate someone, defame someone, turn away from someone. Like, I want y'all to think about that. And they do all of this for profit. So here we are. This is the world that we're living in. Gaslight Central. Anybody can just get online and make up anything that they want and say whatever they want and try to convince people of nonsense. You gotta know it's bad in wino land when they're platforming mentally ill people with actual diagnosis. And let's just be clear, I've been ran into the hospital where people tried to put a mental health diagnosis on me, and I passed all my psych evaluations. Yeah, that's why they're called influencers. The question is, what are they influencing? They need to stop calling them influencers and start calling them influenza. Brain rot. It's funny how that works. Demore Hadley, nobody wanted to believe that. And now that there are some pertinent updates, I'm not sure whether or not we're going to be doing a video or we're going to be doing a live about it, but I just find it interesting how everyone was so willing to believe that Desiree Perez had a leg to stand on. Well, apparently, a judge has now agreed that the evidence that was shown wasn't a mistake and wasn't her making a big deal out of nothing. No, those charges are moving forward. I want you guys to think about that. Why is it that people have to fight to get people to believe them when they're saying, hey, someone's lying on me. Hey, someone's setting me up. Why is that? Why does someone have to sit there and beg people to believe them when they're saying, hey, this person is setting me up? This person is gaslighting me. Nobody wants to believe that. You got to fight to prove it. But do they have to fight? The people that are doing the gaslighting, do they have to fight to get people to believe them? Or do they just get millions upon millions upon millions of views? I mean, Odell, what do you think about that? Why are people so quick to believe gaslighters? Well, I mean, yeah. Mm. They've been going after him. They've been going after him, but it's funny because nobody wants to take into consideration that he's not allowing his career to be controlled by the masses, or the industry. He's literally running his own shop. He's not being booked by Live Nation. He's setting up his own thing. I want you guys to think about all of this. Like, this is the system imposing its will. That's what this is. But when it gets to the point where you can just platform anything or anyone, and people just really get to say whatever they want. And there's a lot of people that would accuse me of a lot of things, but at the end of the day, everything that I said turns out it was true. And I think that's the thing that really bothers people more than anything. But understand this, we did not research him. We did not know about his mental health diagnoses or what was going on with him. We didn't know any of that. Something smelled rotten in Denmark, and we just decided we were going to skip it. But I want y'all to think about where he ended up and where he was not only platformed, but promoted. Multiple content creators. I can think of at least 10 different platforms that came forward. Katt Williams was just accused of the unthinkable. Katt Williams was just accused of being a PDFer. Katt Williams was this, Katt Williams was that. And guess what? How many of them are going to do videos about this man's mental health diagnosis that they helped promote that shwill? And are they going to denounce Trash It a Grouch for this interview? Are any of the people who ran with that story going to hold her accountable for platforming someone who's mentally ill with a proven mental health diagnosis? Not gossip, not what I said, not possible doctored receipts, none of that. Who's going to hold her accountable? Am I going to be the only person on social media that's going to say, has it gotten that bad over there, Toots, that you got to go to Arkham Asylum to find people to interview? That's how bad it is out here in these streets. That your exclusives come from Arkham Asylum. But then again, most of the people that you clientele with belong there as well, including you. Because in my opinion, it don't get much mentally more unwell than that chick over there. Like, are we forgetting that she's constantly bringing up her own child abuse in her interviews? Constantly. Because she kept talking about how she was abused at home, how her mother allowed her to be abused at home, trying to get him to confirm that he had been abused by Katt Williams. Like, you gotta be real evil to want to make somebody a child PDF. And she did. No, well, my mother and my mother loved me. And if I was your mother and maybe your mother and your mother, and because my mother did this and my mother did that, and my mother let this happen to me, and my mother let that happen to me, and I forgave her. You can't forgive your mom. My team researched your claims and they think you're just paranoid, but the judge don't. The judge don't think they're paranoid at all. The judge is actually moving forward. Well, I mean, let's be clear. There's plenty of people that will probably say the same thing about me. There's plenty of people that will probably say, "Oh, well, Jag, you're always talking about what happened to you and how you can understand and whoop de whoop de woo." Um, Being able to empathize with what someone is going through is not trying to use what happened to you to convince people into carrying a certain narrative. At no point in time will you ever hear me sit down and talk with someone and say, "You know what? I think you were being gaslit. You know what? What do you hear that? See? Well, I can understand why you won't say that because, I was afraid to talk about how what was happening in my life was this, but I know. We don't know, but we know." That kind of shit. Yeah. Use it to guilt trip people into going along with a narrative. At the end of the day, that's what she was trying to do. And guess what? Even a man who spent that much time or a lot of time in a mental facility was smart enough not to. How about that? Like, I'll never forget, she was sitting there with someone, and Jaguar Wright is mentally ill, and Jaguar Wright is this, and she's that, and she's this, and she's that. Prove it. Candace Owens. Trump and the FBI, they took out Charlie Kirk. Prove it. Brick lady, I got hit in the face with a brick. Prove it. Kevin
Yeah,
Federline.
yeah,
Britney Spears is in danger of unaliving herself. She's going to end up unalived. Read my book. Prove it. It's there's a lot of people that just like believing whatever they hear because it sounds crazy, it sounds salacious. And what I will say is this: we all have the right to believe whatever we want. Just be careful because there was a lot of people that was running with this thumbnail trying to disparage Katt Williams.
yeah.
A lot of people. A
Imagine, imagine,
lot of people.
imagine right now. See, the thing is this is why what we do, Jag, is thoroughly researched because there's a lot of people that have done stories about what was on her website, the video and all that or whatever. Like I said, I didn't know too much about what was being said et cetera, et cetera. I was actually like trying to find out the metrics, like who downloaded it, what would it, but she doesn't release all that, and you can't just get it. I would have to like really bogart and be like, yo, her domain, her web, whoever hosts her site, whoever hosts her site, I have to be like, yo, I need to know these numbers, blah blah, legal reasons. It ain't even that damn
Ain't
serious.
nobody
But
interested in pocket watching her. That's her
right,
job.
but
Ain't
but what
nobody
I'm but
interested.
but what I'm saying is in relation to what you were talking about earlier when it comes to like impact, because we were talking about um Candace Owens, the hype auditor and her numbers and stuff like that. This story where he said Katt, the brother said Katt exposed his children, the brother's children, to situations or people he considers inappropriate. The brother brings up family issues, difficulties with adoption, a possible deceased adopted son
There's a lot.
reference. Like the thing is there's a lot of stuff that was said in this interview, and now that it's like, oh, it's taken away. It's not on her website anymore, but you got a bunch of people who did things
Already clipped
on
it.
YouTube. Yeah, they clipped it. It's on YouTube, which translates to Google, which what Google is the truth. Y'all remember that now they're saying, go whatever Google says, it goes. It's the truth. And now what? Wait, the guy is mentally unwell. So what do you do with everybody that did all those stories about this situation?
Are they going to retract? Are they going to do retractions? Are they going to take those videos down? Are people going to go to Google and make sure that Google isn't rematriculating these lies? Like, what are they going to do? See, that's the thing. The second that they put the lies out there, they're not in a rush to take them down.
And see, serious allegations like this coming from a family member, and this is why I know we'll talk about the legal ramifications that she did on you, because she had a family member come and talk mess about you,
She had a couple
but
family members come, but her
couple.
main source never got on camera.
But listen, independent verification
Hmm.
strengthens whatever a person is saying. So if you got someone coming on here saying X, Y, and Z, you could independently verify certain things your damn self to strengthen whatever it is that you're going to broadcast. You have to be responsible. So she knew, like you say, she was going to be in some deep trouble, and let's get rid of this. The interview is partly about contrasting Katt Williams' comic persona with the family trauma and hidden issues, right? It's just bogus. I'll just say it for the whole thing, it was just bogus, like a clout chaser again. The
And nobody
reaction,
really believed it when they saw it. That's the sad part about it. You went through all of that and nobody believed it. I'm just trying to figure out which member of the YouTube mafia, the alleged YouTube mafia, came to her and asked her to attach Reggie Carroll to it, because she did.
yeah, and
She
then
attached
had
Reggie Carroll to it. She sat there and talked about how Katt Williams needs to be held accountable for what happened to Reggie Carroll. And then you were going to use all of this shwill that his brother had to say that, as it turns out, isn't true.
and
Anybody going to come after any of that? Is anybody going to say any of that?
people. The reaction essentially is they feel she's pushed too far into private family matters. And she does that a lot. Like I said, that's why I brought you up, and that's why I said your situation. So she can say a whole lot of stuff about you, got a documentary about you, but no verification, no court records, nothing, no documentation, nothing to nothing. Okay, then we'll see you in court. Because that's honestly, I'm not mad at Cardi B for getting at her like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's
Yeah, but
honestly what
even
needs to
that,
happen.
they turned that into content, because she never paid. And
Right.
apparently Cardi B isn't interested in making her pay. Like, it's funny. It was all a cloud chase. Like,
That was
that's the
all. That
whole
was
thing
all.
about
Yeah,
it.
that was a play too. Yeah.
It was another show trial that everybody turned into content. I'm just trying to figure out how people aren't more outraged at the simple fact that she literally sat there and tried to turn that man into a PDF, and nobody seems to care. But she was willing to platform someone who's been in and out of a mental facility and diagnosed with mental issues.
Wow.
I want y'all to think about that. Every last one of y'all that ran with that story, every last one of y'all that did that, you were running with details and information that came from someone who's legit on the books as a mental patient from a hospital, who's been in and out of the hospital and spent a lot of time there. I want y'all to think about that. Y'all all ran with that. Y'all ran with that story. You ran with that thumbnail. You ran with that headline to get people to go over to that lion ass bitch's fucking website and pay $12.99 to listen to someone make up a bunch of stories, unverified. You can't even blame him. You can't blame him. I want y'all to think about that. That's who y'all go and you get your thumbnails from. That's who you go to destroy another person's character. That's who you go and get your tea from. That's who you go and get your information from. Someone who platforms someone who was not long ago in a mental hospital, who has a legit mental health diagnosis. There's something wrong online, man. And
Yeah,
it's all
man.
gaslighting. It's all gaslighting. Gaslight you into believing this, gaslight you into believing that, gaslight you into believing this. I want y'all to just pay attention. Pay attention to what's about to happen with Britney Spears, because honestly, I don't see this situation getting better. I see it getting worse. And as I'm watching the media ramp it up and ramp it up and ramp it up and ramp it up, it's looking like they're about to create all of this angst so that they can cash in and make big money off of everything that's going on.
Mhm.
So let's just be careful what we give a click, a view. Let's be careful what we invest. And let's be just a little bit more knowledgeable about people who are being gaslit, people who are being lied on. And this is why we do what we do, because there's a lot of people that just miss all of this. It just comes and goes. Like, I just find it funny. They spent a whole weekend promoting this man and promoting this interview and talking about Katt Williams and doing this and doing that. And they didn't even bother to check him out before they ran with it. Didn't even bother. And you know what? They're not gonna bother now either. They're gonna sit up there and they're gonna play past it and they just gonna let it, and then Tasha go, oh my God, I feel played. I feel played. I feel like he played with me. No, he didn't. He did exactly what you asked him to do. Get up there and lie on his brother. I just feel sad for everybody that paid $12.99 for it.
Mm.
Sounds like y'all got robbed.
Thank you, Brenda Brown.
Thank you, Brenda. And on that note, I think we getting ready to shut this down.
Yeah, my phone died, so yeah.
Shabbat shalom, guys. Until we meet again. Don't, I don't, don't, I don't believe the hype. For real. I am, oh my God, it's just
Don't believe the hype.